Hi, I'm Charlie from cookingsecretsformen.com. So recently, I was in Sante Fe, New Mexico, visiting my youngest son, Carlo, and his girlfriend, Mary, for Easter. For Easter dinner, we went to one of the nicer Sante Fe restaurants on Canyon Road, El Farol restaurant. The El Farol experience combines classic tastes of Spain with a unique blend of art, dance, flavor, and aroma. El Farol has been called Sante Fe's most iconic bar and restaurant since 1835. One of the tapas that I had was a polenta dish made with piquillo peppers, Manchego cheese, and a white wine garlic butter sauce with cherry tomatoes on top. It was fabulous. So I did what I've been known to do when I ate something at a restaurant that I loved. I called the chef. The chef at El Farol is Chef Esteban, and he was gracious enough to walk me through the recipe and tell me how this great polenta dish was made. So, here's my attempt to make this delicious polenta tapas, courtesy of Chef Esteban and El Farol restaurant in Sante Fe, New Mexico. All right, so we're going to do the piquillo peppers first. We're going to puree them. So piquillo peppers are they're Spanish red peppers as a substitute. If you can't find these, use a jar of roasted red peppers. All right, so we're going to use our immersion blender, and we're just going to, this is a can that we just use. We're going to use the immersion blender and all right, so that will go in the liquids for the polenta. So we're going to start with the liquid. So I've got pan heating, and the ratio for polenta to liquid is 3 to 1. So I'm going to start with this is 1 cup of water. Just plain oil. All right. I want it to be kind of room temperature. And then I've got 2 cups of milk. Pour that in slowly. All right. And the piquillo pepper puree. All right, and we're going to whisk this to kind of combine it. One of the things that drew me to this polenta dish was the color, and the reason the color was what it was is because it was piquillo pepper puree. So we'll do that. So there is a difference between polenta and cornmeal. So polenta is much more coarse, as you can see. We're going to put that in just a minute, as soon as we get up to a boil. And then cornmeal is a lot finer. As you can see, it's just not the same. So can you use cornmeal? I guess, but you really should use what they were intended for. I use cornmeal a lot on fried green tomatoes, and polenta is for making polenta. So we want to get the temperature on this a little higher. We'll whisk a little bit. Okay, we're going to add the polenta slowly, because if you don't, it'll end up lumpy. So we're going to put this in little by little. All right, I'm going to keep whisking. It's one of the reasons I like polenta that comes in a tube and kick it in the microwave. But this is not how Chef Esteban makes it, so we're going to be true to the recipe. You can see that it's much thicker than when we first started. Put on my Grillaholics gloves, add a little salt and pepper. I'm going to take it off the heat. Okay, now we're going to slowly add the Manchego cheese. This is about a cup, maybe a little bit more. So same type of thing. Alright. Alright, so we have our pan. So we're going to pour it in. Very heavy. Remember, this is just 1 cup of polenta. I'll put a little salt and pepper from Grillaholics, that's PG. Stir it around. Alrighty. Got the right consistency. Alright, so we're going to take this, put it in the fridge, and let it cool. You can do it for a couple hours, as long as you want. But the deal is you need it to firm up, and that's what the refrigerator will do. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. Alright, we've allowed the polenta to cool in the pan. So we're going to flip it onto a cutting board. Hopefully this will work. Look at that. Alright, nice and firm. So we're going to take a little olive oil and we're going to brush. See, we're going to brush the top. So I'm going to flip this onto another cutting board. There we go. Alright, so we'll brush the top with a little olive oil. Looks good. So we have a baking pan that I put aluminum foil. The reason we use aluminum foil for easier cleanup. I'm going to put this in the 450 degree preheated oven for about a minute. So we're going to let that heat in the oven. And we're going to cut these into squares. Now, Chef Esteban uses rounds. And I think probably uses a bigger pan and can get more out of it. But I want to maximize the number of slices I can get out of here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to maximize the amount of slices. So I'm going to get 4 out of here. So I'm going to cut here. And then cut across. Remember, this is appetizer size. This is a nice size for a tapas. So we're going to take these and we're going to put them on the prepared baking sheet and then let them cook in the oven for about 10 minutes. They're already cooked, obviously, but it's going to warm. And then we'll put the topping on, and if we need to, might have to use the torch. All right, we'll move out of the way. And move over olive. Hot. So we'll take these pieces, polenta, and the Manchego cheese. All right. So what we'll do is put these in the oven and we'll cook them for about 10 minutes. We'll top them and hopefully they'll come out nice and brown. So we'll be right back. So I made an executive chef decision. I decided to keep the one big one, which is I'm going to use for presentation purposes, and then I cut 2 different sizes, 2 rectangles, and then 2 of the bigger ones I cut into squares. These will be more bite size, so we'll see how they turn out. So into the oven. All right, to make the topping, which is cherry tomatoes, white wine, garlic butter sauce, we have some butter heating, which we're going to put our shallots in just a second. garlic, butter, and we have some cherry tomatoes they'll go on top. Now, Chef Esteban uses microgreens to top the polenta. I don't have any microgreens, and I'm not going to get any. So we'll put some sort of green something on there, the chiffonade of cilantro or parsley. All right, so butter heating. So let's go in and toss in our shallots, and we'll do these till they caramelize a little bit. And Chef uses a lot of butter, and he reiterated that. Butter is a key ingredient here. And as I told him, Chef, in my family, there's no such thing as too much butter. I can see they're beginning to brown a little bit. We'll give them another minute or so to completely caramelize. Okay, we'll go ahead and add in our chopped garlic. It's about 3 garlic cloves. Things beginning to brown nicely. Let's add a little more butter and one more tablespoon. Chef likes to use butter to help solidify the sauce. We're going to use some Sauvignon Blanc, some nice wine from Josh, whoever Josh is, to deglaze. Get all the bits off the bottom. You definitely want this to be a sauce. And a little bit of salt and pepper. Not a lot. And last thing we'll add in our chopped cherry tomatoes. We can actually turn off the heat, so these things will cook. So this will be the topping for the polenta. As you can see, it is a sauce. It's kind of thick. Toying with the idea of adding a little more butter, and I think we might be good here. All right, so what we'll do now is get the topping ready to put on the polenta. All right, out of the oven, and I'm going to plate the big one in a spatula. So I've got the biggest one here. Put that on the plate. I'm also going to use the torch heat on top. All right, and I'm going to take a little bit of the topping. This butter, wine, garlic sauce. And you don't have any microgreens, so just chop some parsley, but it's going to be green. And this is our Piquillo pepper and Manchego polenta with cherry tomato, white wine, garlic butter sauce. Yum. So we'll just have to taste it. So we'll sit down in just a minute and give it a taste. Okay. We made our polenta. I want to thank Chef Esteban from El Farol restaurant in Sante Fe, New Mexico on Canyon Road. If you're ever in New Mexico, check them out. It's a great place. They have flamingo dancing, they've got craft cocktails, and they've got wonderful, wonderful tapas. And what we made here today is a piquillo pepper and Manchego cheese polenta topped with a butter, garlic, tomato, wine sauce with a little, we'll pretend those are microgreens because that's what Chef Esteban uses, but they're actually just chopped parsley. So, and of course, good old New Mexican beer that you can only get here in Wisconsin, Spotted Cow. So we're going to give our polenta taste and see if I measured up to Chef Esteban. A little bit, the goodies there. You certainly taste the cheese, taste the peppers. The sauce really does a wonderful job kind of marrying everything together. Well, Not quite Chef Esteban, but I made a good effort. One of my favorite things to do, go to restaurants, and I like something a lot, call a chef, say, "Chef, how'd you make this?" And they usually will tell you, and we'd like to give them a little credit. And next time I'm in Santa Fe, we'll definitely be going there. And Chef Esteban, if you're ever in Milwaukee, you can come. Well, there's no restaurant here, but we'll be glad to find a nice place to head out. So, appreciate everyone watching. Thanks so much for all your support. Please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.